Welcome, everyone, to Two Guys in Hockey Talk, Season 7, Episode 2. I'm Pawel with my wonderful co-host.
Hey, it's Evan Renaerts, guys. Just glad to be back again, and I'm glad that this season I'm still wonderful. I was hoping I'd be my cool, my hip, but no, I just got wonderful. But I'd rather take wonderful than some things the kids are calling people these days. So. Hey, man. So it's great to be back. Episode 2. Get into our season. If you're out there right now, we want to get a couple things out of the way before we get in. As we get all your shares, if you guys can share, like, subscribe, take care of all that kind of stuff, guys, that would be wonderful. Follow us over on Facebook. Check us out if you guys want. Also, check us out on X right there. And I know a bunch of you are starting to come online. There's a few pieces that just kind of we always find X takes about 10 minutes, and then you guys just start blowing the place open. So YouTube as well. Subscribe to us on YouTube. One of the easiest ways, and our YouTube feed goes directly to our website at twoguysinhockeytalk.com. Well, Pawel, we got some pretty exciting news today. We have a new sponsor. It just came together about 5 hours ago. I got the official. I was working on this for a while. We are very fortunate. Currently, we have Penny Billionaires. This is our 3rd season working with exclusive rights to their song Invincible for our intro and outro music. So thanks to Penny Billionaires, electronic hard rock band. Thanks to JR Web Designs, back with us for another year, supplying our website. Guys, it's a great place to get for a great price. Back this year, we have Puckpedia, Hart Levine and Puckpedia. In fact, we have Hart Levine on in the month of October. And something new, Puckpedia has their own hockey show. So it's called the Puckpedia Hockey Show. You can check it out. They just had every Wednesday. So before our show, earlier in the day, they have something else. And they have Assistant General Manager David Ludwig today on of the Utah Mammoth with a whole bunch of stuff around it. We will get into some stuff around that. So again, thanks to Puckpedia. And today, I'm proud to announce we have Flow Hockey. So we've talked about Flow Hockey. Flow Hockey will provide your streams to USHL, OHL, OAJHL, QMJHL, all throughout the CHL. They also deal with a whole bunch of other leagues that I can't even mention on this show because there's so many. So, guys, if you want, subscribe over there. You can pick it up for about $200 for an entire year if you subscribe all and an annual fee. Great deal. That's where I get a lot of my fix and get watch a lot of games because, frankly, we having regular jobs, you can't really get out there because it's not like someone's paying us to go scout these teams out, dude.
100%. And I believe that we are very thankful for all their sponsorship. And if you want to get involved with Two Guys in Hockey Talk, feel free to email us at twoguysinhockeytalk@gmail.com. I'll put the email in the link here. You guys can reach out to us and we'll get connected with you. We'd love to partner with you and see what we can make work. Now, Evan.
Hey, before we get to that, because I think you're going to go into the news. I know we have a lot. Just so you guys know, tonight, we won't be able to ramble like we sometimes do. So some of you are going to go, thank goodness. But the truth is, we have a whole bunch of stuff to cover. It's more jam-packed than I think we've ever had, even though the NHL training camps just opened today with physicals. But I want to mention next week, if you're tuning in right now, a lot of you are interested in next year's draft, just because a lot of what our show talks about, and Gavin McKenna. Now, he's considered a franchise player, not generational, so don't go getting all over us saying that. I think he could be, but he is going to be, I think, in the Macklin Celebrini, Connor Bedard kind of the type of a player. He is in Penn State University, and next week we have Josh Bartosik. He is the Penn State broadcaster and journalist for all their communication radio. He's going to be with us and joining, as well as he just got on with I think it was the Wheelers. Let me double check. But he's just gone on with another sports team to do some broadcasting in the ECHL. So it should be an interesting show. But saying that, buddy, I'm ready for a drink, and let's get going.
Cheers to all of you out there. So there's been a lot of news around the NHL, and some of the more pressing one that has really come out recently is from the 2018 World Junior Hockey Team. After the verdict has been made already, as we all know, it sounds like the NHL and the NHLPL have made their deliberation and have decided that they are allowed to reinstate all 5 of those players back into the NHL. Now, there are some stipulations with that because they're eligible to sign by October 15th, but they're not able to play until December 1st of this year. So there is a little bit of a gap. Now, a few things that have really caught people's eyebrows is there's been reporting that there's a lot of interest in Carter Hart since he is a goaltender. He had good numbers prior to the case, and even though Philadelphia Flyers gave up the rights because those contracts were mutually ended by both clubs, their respective clubs, and the NHL, they are now able to seek out other clubs to play for. And as it was reported, Carter Hart's agent indicated that he had a conversation with the Flyers GM Danny Briere and indicated that Carter Hart would like a fresh start and he would not be returning to the Philadelphia Flyers. And there is rumblings that he most likely will get some interest amongst a few teams, primarily in the U.S. Now, at any point, things could change. And in Canada, if you think about it, most teams have their goaltending except for Edmonton, which we'll get into later. But it sounds like one of those teams is Vegas, and there's a few others. So keep an eye out for an early contract there.
So Utah, and I know we'll get into them a little bit later. But Utah was one of the teams supposedly interested potentially, and Carolina by some of the insiders. So you guys can take that for what it's worth. That's nothing coming from us. I actually know from the Vegas side, even though that some reports have come out that Jim Foley has had some issues in his past around some suits and stuff that likely that would not be. Currently, that is not the information I'm getting, and that they'd be open. And hey, Pawel, they did have a news conference, and they asked Bowman in Edmonton specifically, a lot of talk. Let everyone just give the latest update for those that have not heard.
For sure. And so he indicated there is no interest from the Edmonton Oilers side as an organizational decision to bring in Carter Hart at all, or even have those discussions. So they are not going to be approaching Carter Hart and his representative in order for him to come play in Edmonton. They seem to believe that Stuart Skinner and maybe Picard, unless there's some other move on the go that we don't know about, is probably most likely the starting tandem at the beginning of the season.
Okay. Sounds good. We got the Carter Hart update. Why don't we cover – so we want to cover a whole bunch of stuff for you guys here today. So we're going to move a little bit quicker. Some of this is news information, and there might be a piece or two where we both kick in, and there'll be some little banter that goes around. If you have a question, or if you specifically have a statement or something you want to throw out there, we'll put it up on the screen, let people know if we get a chance to do it here. Let's touch in quickly on the Calgary Flames. So a lot of people have been asking now. I did not get the report since yesterday. I haven't had time. Been trying to cover too much. As you guys know, we cover all things hockey, not just one league. So Zane Perrick did not participate in the rookie camp. He did not participate on ice, that is. And he did not participate in the rookie games. However, they said he'd be ready for camp. Today was physical. I don't have a report back. So if someone's out there and you do know whether or not Zane Perrick did actually report in and it looks like he's starting tomorrow, or if there's a delay, I have a feeling there's going to be a delay because he's still dealing with the injury from last year. Then, hey, Michael Backlund signs a 2-year. If you're a Flame fan, you got to be excited to get your captain back. He's only $3.25 million per year for 2 more years, I believe it was, the contract. Yes. That's not bad. So they've secured their center, which is still a great two-way center. If he could play third, that'd be perfect on your team. But for a growing team, he's a guy that's going to teach your guys back. And I think he's going to be a good mentor for Connor Zary still as they continue. And, hey, he not only was he a pending UFA, but he was the leading face-off winner for Calgary last year, and they need him. So I think that's a great haul that they were able to bring that in.
100%. He wanted to be there, and Calgary is lucky to have him as a captain. I know that the year that they did not have a captain, a lot of the leadership in that locker room talked about how they wanted someone to step up, and many voiced indicating their support for Backlund for taking that step because they knew the kind of player the guy is, and he competes every night. He may not be the best elite power forward in terms of scoring, but you know what you're getting every night, and he's able to bring it. And in a team that's rebuilding. I think you want that. There was a great photo of him and Dustin Wolf after Dustin Wolf signed that big contract at a charity golf tournament. So it goes to show you he knows, he supports his teammates. He's ready to go there. Let's see if he can still play for that one season when they open the new arena, or be able to at least be part of that puck drop. So that would be incredible. We wish him all the best. Now, there's some other players that you wanted to talk about with Calgary, some rookies that are coming in potentially this year.
Yeah, so a lot, guys. We had some information for you a couple of weeks. We just haven't had a lot of time. So some of you have been following in the KHL. Maxime Beryokin, I think it's Beryozkin. Let me get that right, from Yaroslav. So he's had a good, strong start to his season, and it looks like he's going to be logging significant time. So all the Oilers fans, you should love that. He got the shootout winner in the opening game against Tractor. As well, another prospect, his name is Yasevev. He's getting a bigger role now with Amir as well, who is another prospect. His name, Amir Kabarovsky. I think that's how you say it. These names are really difficult. You know, Pawel, that's a hard one for me if it's not Bure or Pawel.
No, fair enough. And what I was asking for before you got to the Oilers prospect is Zane Perek and some of their prospects to finish off the Calgary thing, because you went jumping into the Edmonton Oilers prospect.
Oh, you were asking me about the prospects, some of their other guys.
Zane Perek and how he's not going to participate.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So he's being kept out for precautionary reasons during that 2-rookie game versus Edmonton, which Evan just kind of alluded to. And he's been dealing with some injury, but he should be a full participant in the main camp. So expect him to come out.
Zumiev and Siliev and Zumiev, I think is their two names. They were really good in the 2 rookie games. I really like what I saw.
Bruzgevich, the defenseman, has been really, really solid for them. So I like what they brought. Remember, Evan, they still have to figure out what they're going to do with Rasmus Anderson. He may be a big piece to move at the trade deadline. But,
I mean, it's pretty much, even Backlund, interesting enough, right? It said, well, we all know he's getting traded because he's not re-signing on a non-winning team. The guy wants to win. Hence, still look out for the Las Vegas Knights. They need to replace Pietrangelo, and I think he might be their guy. They're going to find a way to make it happen.
Interesting. And the other one to keep an eye out for Calgary is you have to watch what will happen if Mackenzie Weegar, I know he's already signed, if he's able to compete to the level to get to Team Canada as one of those backup.
Okay, guys, just so you know, that is our new sound effect because Pawel's added some more stuff in, and this is going to put us behind. So, hey, Calgary fans, blame me. Don't blame Pawel. He was providing you with the material. Okay, everyone's talking. I already mentioned a couple of the prospects to kind of watch out for. There's 2 prospects that everybody's watching right now in Matthew Savoy and Ike Howard. What was your take? I'm going to let you, I won't worry about my take. I'll let you do the take. I'll share more next week. Tell us what's your thoughts on the 2. And then go ahead and jump right into what's happening on McDavid and give everyone an update. You got 3 minutes to complete it all.
I'll do it. All right. Isaac Howard, he looked all right. He looked a little out of sorts. I mean, he hasn't played pro hockey yet. So, of course, he's going to get some time to acclimatize to his new environment. I like Matthew Savoy. I know Ryan McLeod had a good year and they re-signed him in Buffalo, but I like what Savoy brings, and I think he's going to fit nicely in that top 6 role. Now he can be on the top line or the second line, but really he's going to have an opportunity to play those big minutes and put the puck in the net with some elite players. Howard, I don't want to say he struggled, but he really challenged himself, and I really think that he needs an opportunity to just get his legs going. I think that was also indicated by Leon Draisaitl today in an interview with Elliot Freeman and Kyle Bukauskas. And so we'll see how it goes. And as for McDavid, I know he had that interview that came out and a lot of Oilers fans on Twitter/X are panicking. I'm going to say that the majority of people that know him aren't panicking. I don't know if he's signing an 8-year deal. I think that's out the window. However, I still see a 2 to 4 year deal, more likely 2 to 3 year, between 16 to 17.5 million signed to make the team competitive, and he's going to stick around at Edmonton. But again, Oilers, you have 1 more year left. Don't mess this up. And this is Edmonton Oilers organization, Jeff Jackson and Stan Bowman on the clock. That's my rant.
Okay, well, that was your rant. But, buddy, So we should have gave you the rant of the night there. Actually, I almost feel like doing a rant of the night. I'm going to just hit on something with me, David. Everybody's out there. Can I just say that I actually am not impressed with him? He is a captain. He had all summer. He know it's his right, guys. You can lay off of me about what his rights are, but it is wrong to hijack a team like he's doing. It affects other contracts. He says it's not to be a distraction. There's no way it's not a distraction. I don't care whether he stays or whether he goes, but just quit acting like you're okay with it, because he's looking like a little bit of a narcissist. And I'm sorry, guys, but that's what it's looking like when you're holding things up. Unless there's something legit that comes out of this, Pawel, later on, that there is no way to get it done early. Because if we look, there's a lot of contracts held up right now. He's affecting a lot. And there could be something bigger. We talked about that last week. If that's it, then I get it. But right now, this whole, well, I don't know. And putting statements out like, well, for the 2025, 26, or for, no term. Man, you're putting it out there to rile up your fans and everyone that supported you. I know you've done a lot. But remember who pays the bills. It's called the fans. Okay, anyway, that's my rant.
Well, there's quite a bit more knowledge about that, and we're going to get to it as we come around. But right now, we're getting to Around the Rink. Now, before you get to the top of the food chain in the NHL, Evan, you love talking about some of the lower level leagues where the fun happens, the buildup happens, character, skill, leadership are taught. Let's get into the BCHL. I know you wanted to kind of allude to that, so go ahead. Give us some of your thoughts.
Okay, first of all, last year, got a chance to go out to the old rink. So I went out to Spruce Grove. Very interesting. The Spruce Grove Saints are preparing to host their first ever game in their new facility, the Thompson Family Arena. Fear the blue, baby. So this should be an exciting time, but there's lots going on in the BCHL. You can see I got my BCHL courtesy of the Lost Trucker. Thanks. I got an all-star BCHL jersey to kind of rep for the BCHL. I'll wear it to the next Spruce Grove game. I'm hoping to get out to 2 or 3, plus a couple, probably, I think I got about 15 games planned around the BCHL local areas, and maybe potentially a couple even over in BC. Now, hey, they have their showcase this year. It's announced again, the annual showcase event. It's taking place in October on the 12th and 18th. It's held for the consecutive second year in Abbotsford and Chilliwack in BC. So it's crucial for all the 20 teams in the BCHL, because they need to play in front of scouts more now than ever. Remember what we heard from Dan Tenser last year, the Saskatoon Blades. There's even scouts that come from not just NHL or NCAA, but they're watching even because they can pull them over now, right? So there is a difference of what's going on. Remember BCHL players, they changed the rules. So, and BC doesn't put any restrictions, whereas the CHL teams do. Now, I love the CHL. Don't get me wrong. We'll talk about how they're getting hurt by the NCAA later on. But this is a good thing. So the other part is there's some league initiatives going on. BCHL is highlighting its new initiatives. There's an academic readiness program to better prepare players. Now, this is really cool for the classroom side of the collegiate careers. So they don't just want it left the way it is. They want to see some changes. So I was pretty excited to see that. And I want to wish new former Sarnia Sting, defenseman Casey Bridgewater, he's moved to the BCHL. And so that's an exciting part. And the last part with the BCHL I wanted to touch in on is that this year they have signed a 3-year partnership extension with Rogers. It was announced just here, September 17th, guys, today. The deal builds on their ongoing support for broadcasting, streaming, and don't forget Flow Hockey, which one of our sponsors, you guys go and subscribe to them if you want to watch your BCHL hockey and you don't have ability to check it out. They still believe they are the pathway to the NCAA. So we'll see how that goes. It's going to really show itself differently.
Excellent. And I know we're going to get into the AHL preseason, but it was also announced that the OHL Kitchener Rangers that they are investing into a $2.5 million project to help with player recruitment and retention. It's always good to see investment at that level. Any quick thoughts before we move on?
Why would they need to focus on player recruitment and retention? It's because the NCAA is taking players now. They have better arenas. Like right now, we didn't get a chance to even cover it last week. So the entire Ontario Hockey League has an initiative. Arenas are going to have to be better. They have to change all the seating. They have to change better locker rooms for visitor and home. They have massive millions and millions of dollars, not only keep players, but to keep it a place for training. Like they want to compete with NCAA now. So competition is good in this sense, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. You need it, especially with everything that's gone on over the last year that we've reported on. So it'll be interesting to see, and we will be first here to report on it. And you wanted to kind of allude to the preseason with the AHL, that the game schedule that they released.
Yeah, so maybe you guys can give your take into and see what your thoughts are on this. But so the AHL released their preseason game schedule. And do you guys realize that 10 teams will not be playing a single preseason game? Now, I'm curious. Do you guys think it matters? Because we know they're already in camps. They're in main camps, and they're already training. Sometimes they're a part of the preseason games, which is going to be changing, I think. Maybe one game, maybe two games. I actually don't know how I feel about this, so I'd be interested in your guys' thoughts. But that's interesting that they can opt out and have no preseason games.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can let us know your thoughts. And there is a little bit more to get in through the NCAA, as well as next week, because we won't have time to it. As Evan indicated, we have a lot. We're going to get into a little bit about the SHL and kind of something going on there, because there's a lot to explain there, and we're not going to have the time. But I know, Evan, you wanted to talk a little bit about the NCAA team competition tickets for NHL scouts.
Yeah, so this is an interesting twist for those that are not familiar. If you already are, if I make a couple mistakes, you can go ahead and put in the comments. You guys can correct me. You can text me, send me over at Previnev or at what are you at hockey_2? I'm trying to remember. It's been so long, buddy. Since you're on my phone, so I don't even pay attention. But some NCAA teams, what they've done is they've kept tickets for NCAA scouts and to allow to come scout out players. So after they leave the CHL, they can actually go afterwards. They would actually go to not NCAA. How did that work? I don't even know why they were scouting. Man, I've got lost right in my own thoughts here. So somehow they were getting free tickets. So anyway, so what's happened now, it looks like if NCHL schools can afford to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay players, they're saying, we're not giving any of your guys free access into our arenas anymore. So I don't know if that's a good idea. I think you want your players to come to your team so that they can be seen by more around the world. I think it's a free market world instead of competing. So the truth is, zero players will lose out on an NCAA opportunity. So it's kind of interesting. But hey, I'm going to ask our guest next week from Penn State University, now home of Ravensburg. Is it Ravensburger? Which was the goalie that was drafted? He went to Penn State University. I think he'll be back.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Ravensburg. Him and, of course, Gavin McKenna, the consensus, by the way, by TSN, number one. All the Penn Scouts that called in actually rated him number one overall. So their Penn State University coach, James Franklin. Now this is not for hockey, but James Franklin flew his helicopter, to Pine Richland High School, and he landed on the grounds to check out on their committed guy, Callie Taylor, to see if he can get his friend Jay Timmons to flip over to Penn State. Will they do this in hockey? And I want to know, is this true or is this false, or I got a story all messed up? Because can you imagine being in your high school and a plane lands because Penn State University coach is there to talk to you to get your buddy to come play? Man, that's the thing that legends are made out of.
100%. So we'll keep you guys posted if anything else happens. But yeah, there's always some crazy and unique stories happening in the world of hockey. And so we're doing our best to report it. Now, finally, in the KHL, and we work with Patrick Conway quite often, the season has begun. But it sounds like Daniel Sprung, who was former player in the NHL for various teams, including the Detroit Red Wings and the Seattle Kraken. He had a hattie in just his 5th KHL game all the way from the Netherlands. So they rebranded as the Shanghai Dragons. Great team.
So Kunlun Red Star. Yeah, Kunlun Red Star. You had shared that last week, right?
And if people know, Gerard Gallant is the coach there, right? They had a really cool promo video. It was really awesome. But again, he comes up, has a big game. They remain unbeaten through the first 4 games. One of the big surprises is import goalie Patrick Rybar and Ivan Morzov of Spartak, I believe. Oh, sorry, Rybar. Sorry, Ivan Morzov of the Spartak has been suspended following a positive dopamine test. Sorry, got my notes confused. But yeah, so it's exciting to see what's been going on. And the KHL, if you're looking for hockey right away and you can't wait till training camp and preseason starts in the NHL, you got that going on. Any quick thoughts on Daniel Sprung and what he's able to do? Because I feel like someone will take a flyer on him one day. And no pun intended.
Absolutely. Well, a flyer. Are the Flyers going to go in? Okay, Jamie, we got a rumor for you. But you know what? Sometimes guys go over there and work their game. So Sebastian DeCosa is one of the all-time highest scorers over there, who was drafted by the Montreal Canadiens. Guys, this is really where it shows that KHL is very much just barely a tad above an AHL as far as the quality of playing with each other. So the KHL versus NHL, it's not even fair because remember, the NHL pulls from all those leagues. To me, it would be like the BCHL going up against a CHL team, right? It's just not going to happen. So there are guys that are kind of middle of the pack, but they need to be guys that play good on a bigger ice surface. However, that is changing. A lot of the rinks are going to the basic measurement standard ice rink size instead of the international. So that will be something interesting to look at. But yeah.
Awesome. And the final thing we wanted to kind of focus on is the Champions League Hockey League. It has begun. It's in its 11th season. The ZCS Lions are defending their title. Along with the IIHF has announced the new European Nations Cup with 12 teams. They're going to try to feature 32 teams from 13 different leagues. The opening week saw a bunch of exciting games, including a strong debut from the Swiss club Fribourg Gortenron. And then here I'm pulling my best pronunciation, so I could be wrong.
I think you did pretty good on that. You got the accent at least.
Thank you. And a convincing win from the Swedish league powerhouse Rolja BK. But there's a few teams that are able to compete in these spots from the founding leagues. I believe it's the Swedish Hockey League, the Swiss Hockey League, the Finnish Liga, the German Deutsche Ice Hockey Liga, Czech Extra Liga, Australian Ice Hockey League, Challenger Leagues are just a few to mention, and they're all able to send their champions to the CHL.
And and so you have a list there. So just so people know, when Pawel said Challenger Leagues, maybe just give the list. These are smaller leagues that it's not guaranteed. They have to be reviewed and allocated to the board, and the exact number isn't always in the Champions League. So it is a league of leagues is really what it is. Maybe just mention the last league so people know where hockey is being played.
Austrian Ice Hockey League, Czech Extra Liga, or are you talking about the other ones like the Danish?
Yeah, at the bottom there, the Danish.
The Danish Metal League, the French League, the Norwegian Elite Hockey League, the Polish Polska Hockey Liga, one of my favorites, the best one, the British Elite Hockey League, and the Slovak Extra Liga. And again, sometimes a rough diamond in the rough can appear, and teams can take a flyer, and he could end up being that X factor for that team. So keep an eye on that.
I just want to put a shout out there, man. Hey, drinks to you and cheers. I think you blew that out of the park. I bet you hit 70% of those right. Either that, or you covered it with, rolling your tongue so well, and you enunciate in such a way it's believable. But why can't you do that with NHL? No, I'm joking. It's all good.
Because I practiced it in front of the mirror several times just to not sound like a buffoon. But you guys can let me know otherwise that I know nothing. So that has been Around the Rink. All right, we've been sharing quite a bit of information. You guys can go and look up that. You can also go to our website at twoguysinhockeytalk.com. We've got regular articles up there. Grant Cummings is back. He's been writing a lot about the Boston Bruins and what his expectations are for that team, as well as my predictions for the year and our weekly updates. We've also got some articles coming up from Evan about some of the clubs happening, as well as things happening in the CHL. Go ahead,
Evan. So tomorrow, not tomorrow, sorry, on Friday, I'm going to be posting on Fridays hockey history. So if you want a little bit more in-depth conversation, some weeks we don't get a hockey history at the end. Today we won't have one. But generally speaking, every Friday, I'm going to try to put up some stuff on hockey history so we have it to go back to for information, like our Bobby Orr stories. My next one I have coming up is on Mario Lemieux, one of the greats. And you guys, not often you're going to hear stories that are actually coming from the guys that are playing right now. It's once they get out. In fact, a whole bunch of stuff was just released this last week here with Matt Cook. Some stuff that was going on and some of his sound bites. But after you get some great stuff out there. So anyway.
So it sounds like Florida Panthers, they've signed Noah Gregor to a PTO, as you're seeing, because it was announced today. And a lot of these teams are doing their media availabilities this week. A lot of their GMs and owners or head coaches are coming out to speak. But it sounds like Brad Marchand will be out for a little bit till December. He talked about.
Sorry, that's Matt. My apologies.
Right.
Name.
Brad Marchand spoke, but Matthew Tkachuk is out, till December.
Did you hear Brad Marchand's comments? Did you catch them today?
A little bit, yes. Yeah, I heard him in the background. I was doing some other work preparing for the show. But yeah, I heard it about the no state. And that I'm going to have to drag him off the ice for him to stop playing because of how much excitement he has for the game.
But he said two of them would not have been able to play and sign again between Bennett himself and Marchand. Sorry, between Bennett himself and Aaron Ekblad. Two of them probably wouldn't have signed if there wasn't the no tax state idea. And he says that right now he believes the no tax states, which are essentially, I think he's referring to Dallas, Tampa Bay themselves in Miami with Florida Panthers and the Vegas Golden Knights. He's referring, they're all really well run, right? But let's just know, I think he needs to recognize they haven't always been well run, all those franchises. So
yeah, 100%. And so that's happening with Florida. I know the Montreal Canadiens, another team in the Atlantic. They talked about Demidov. He's looked exciting so far in the rookie tryout, but he trained a lot this summer. And a close friend of his, Arseny Gridsuck, says that while he works out every day, he does not want to bulk up too much, that he feels comfortable around the size he's at, which is like 190 to 193 pounds. Remember, you gain weight as you get older, as I can attest to that. But normally, a lot of these players, they're trying to, they want to bulk up a little bit, but they also want to be able to be lean and skate, right? You don't want to be too slow and lethargic, right? But there was some rumors and rumblings, and maybe, Evan, you can speak to it, that Demidov may go back to Russia and serve time in the military and the army, as all it's mandated in Russia.
So he didn't go back. So this is he did not go back this summer. At some point, all men, between a specific age, I don't have all the details. Some of you guys might be familiar. Patrick Conway could share more with you around that. But you must serve a certain amount of time. That's why Fedorov, who got traded to Columbus now this week from the Flyers, so that's why he had to go back. And there's a time that you have to serve. That there's no choice to it. So he doesn't want to go back, especially considering what's going on in Russia. He didn't want to go back, so he stayed in Montreal, stayed in Canada, stayed in North America, and focused on training and preparation for this year. And Pawel, I've saw not just the stuff that's really common, but I've saw one of the guys that I know that does scouting and stuff like that, and just happened to be there and posted some stuff. He does amateur scouting, but he was showing Demidov, because he's doing a top prospects for NHL teams. He sent me a few videos just of what I saw. I mean, the guy is looking good. So I'm excited. And that, along with Kirby Dach. Kirby Dach is supposed to be ready to go. He's on track to start the season. So if you're you and I talk, Montreal is set, man, right now. I'd like to see them get one more year out of the playoffs, maybe not make the playoffs again this year, and get one more really good pick. but I think it's it. There's no way they're going to not. We're going to be in a wild card at least. I can't see them doing less.
100%. I like their chances, although I'm sure they're going to still look for a second line center and look no further than maybe like a Kadri out of Calgary. I think his name is going to come up a few times. I'm not saying he's traded. I'm just saying that this is someone.
Montreal, what? Montreal, like possibility. Anything could happen. Okay.
100%. Speaking of another team in the Atlantic, because we're just kind of rolling through, there was some rumblings on X/Twitter that I noticed of Arthur Kaliev being alleged of facing some kind of scam through Instagram with an Instagram model of losing about 15K or duping people out of 50K. Now, there's not been any more specific response from the LA organization, Arthur Kaliev himself, or sorry, not LA, the Ottawa organization. Sorry, he was just in LA. What a summer of beauty.
I know that's where he came from.
Yeah. But there's not been any reporting from Ottawa, from the GM, from Steve Stais or anything like that. We're just going to be reporting it, but just keep an eye on it because it is a story that's kind of brewing because it could impact the blue line for Ottawa, a team that's trying to get back to the postseason again and go deeper than they could before. So it'll be interesting to see, but we'll let you know. And speaking of the other team in the Atlantic, the Tampa Bay Lightning, it sounds like Nick Paul will be sidelined until November after undergoing successful upper body surgery just a couple days ago for an issue he's been battling since last season. He's a 31-year-old. Remember, he was an impactful player for their second Stanley Cup run. Go ahead.
He not playing the World Championships, though? I thought I remembered him playing. I was like, did he play injured during that time?
I can't remember. But he did tally 14 goals in 2024-2025, which will leave that gap in that bottom middle six for Tampa Bay, right? A team that's a little bit older, and they need that youth and infusion. And so we'll see what happens there. So that's pretty much what's going on. But I know you love talking about the Maple Leafs. So why don't you give us a little bit of a breakdown? What's been going on with Toronto?
You want me to talk about them so that you don't take any of the riffraff that comes back our way. It comes back at me and all the heat. The Toronto Maple Leafs guys. So essentially, now you got Austin Matthews saying that he's doing well. This is one of the first times he's come into camp. He said very few times he's come into camp really healthy. He's reportedly done really well. Now, remember, he's had a close relationship with Marner, and he is going to face more media scrutiny. Remember, a lot of it moved over to Marner. You take one guy out, it's no different than any of the Canadian markets, especially when you're talking about places like Vancouver, Edmonton, Toronto, and Montreal, right? It's the kind of the hockey hotbeds. But he is the undisputed leader, and he needs to take this pressure upon himself and carry the offense, and it's immense. So if he can elevate his game, Pawel, I say they have a good year, but this team will ride or fall with that. Now, interesting, Craig Berube is telling reporters that Maselli and Domi, right now, they are day-to-day, their lower body, but he's telling, Machelli, sorry. They're contenders to actually start the season with Matthews and Nyes. So I'm telling you, if that's the case, Matthews is going to have to carry this team. But one thing I am excited about is, now I don't know about you Leafs fans, but Easton Cowan, it's funny. I'm hearing a lot of they're at 190 pounds. They're at 190 pounds. It seems to be the common way a lot of people want to get to. But right now he's coming in at 190. Remember, he's almost 6 feet tall. He's playing in Toronto. This is his year. I hope when I watch his game, I think that he could fit very well. And I see him kind of in that Kadri kind of, not the same type of player, but in the output, what he could potentially bring. So I'm actually really hoping for him that this will be a good season for him.
100%. Yeah, his name, along with Fraser Minton, will definitely be two names to keep an eye on because they're going to have to crack the lineup in order to make an impact if they want to be progressive. Because now Toronto's going to have to learn how to score by committee after the presser today with the head coach, who indicated that he doesn't want to hear about the core four anymore, which, you know, fans were kind of chirping on online, and I kind of enjoyed it as well because you do still have technically a core four. You just replace Marner with, you could say, Riley, who's making the big bucks. But Craig Berube knows what he's going to get out of this team, and he's going to keep pushing it. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, I did want to get into the Carolina Hurricanes because you wanted to talk about Ivan Rabikin's future.
Yeah, so if you guys remember last year, he was drafted. We all thought coming from Russia, he went down to Musquin he did okay. They said he didn't have enough structure to his game. He needed to work on some stuff. He really wasn't in the shape that he was to be in. So Ivan Ryabkin, he got drafted by the Carolina Hurricanes. I think it was a great pick for them. If you're curious where he's at, you have a right to be curious because he spent last season, I'd say, in the USHL, and he helped them actually win the Clark Cup. Now, not that he was an integral part of that, but he was there. And so now, 62nd overall, so that was the end of the second round, if you think about that. He dropped a long ways down, but he has signed quickly, which I was surprised, with the Carolina Hurricanes, a 3-year entry-level deal. Now, I don't know if there's a reason why they did it so quick, but even though he was drafted by a CHL team, okay, that was in the Quebec Maritimes Junior Hockey League, the QMJHL, all signs do point to him playing in North America this season. He could end up being sent to the Wolves because, remember, it's a little bit of a different situation for him. Or he could be sent down to the Charlottetown Islanders in the Q. I actually hope he goes to the Q. I really do. I feel like he needs to work on some other aspects of his game and have a big role. But there have been reports suggesting he's going to try to impress in training camp. So we'll see how he does. I have not been given any information how he's come into that. And then the other thing with the not that it's a big deal for some of you, but Kevin LeBlanc has got a PTO actually with the Carolina Hurricanes. He just signed in there last week.
And let's remember, Carolina is one of those teams that even though after they got Nikolai Ehlers, which was one of the bigger free agents this offseason next to Marner, they still have around $10 million in cap space to play around with. So keep an eye on them for making some more moves and potentially making a bold splash.
I just heard something, Pawel. Someone was saying what's the owner's name again, and why was it blocking me right
now? Tom Dundon?
Dundon has been saying they want a goalie. They want a goalie. And I wonder if they could be the front runner to bring in Carter Hart on a tryout, even a PTO or something or whatever to do to take a chance, because it would be a quieter place. Less people would even know who he is. And they're really good at finding their goalies and also developing them. So as much as I've heard Vegas as a top, I would rank them actually right now that it's one of those three teams. Vegas, Carolina, which I think could be the number one, and or Utah.
It'll be interesting to see. We'll be first to report it when we get the news. Speaking of, go ahead.
No, I'm laughing because you said we'll be the first to report it. I thought you said. And I was
we'll do our best first to report it. Yes, we'll do our best. Follow us at X
in the gang.
So, hey, Andrew, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for everyone that's tuning in today. We appreciate you guys here. Any news on the PWHL? So Zylstra, all that we know is that the season's coming up here. The actual official schedule hasn't been released yet, so I think they are planning to release it here soon. But I think it's at the mid-November. I think I reported it. That's coming up the beginning of the season, and there'll be 20-some plus games, 26, I want to say. And yeah, go ahead, Evan.
So I've reached out to over 10 different representatives. 3 are players, a couple are communications people, a couple people are in coaching and a few other elements to see if we could get anything and kind of go from there. So go ahead. You got Andrew on there.
Yeah, Andrew's just saying I'll be shooting over y'all some logos and hype videos soon. Just got the footage at our last camp. We are looking forward to it. With Andrew, appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Go ahead, Evan.
Okay, so just a heads up. And by the way, that's one of our sponsors in the APHL. Is that how it? So Andrew, forgive me. It's the second part of the season, and we didn't get everything out yet because we were waiting on you. So glad to hear that.
You know when your skates aren't just sharp enough when you're getting into the first few days of the ice, and there's like rookie mistakes that coaches hate to see because they're like, "Come on." Well, that's us right now.
Okay, you know what? I deserve this. honestly, I mean, it's just like not only that, but I feel like I kind of blew it. So I'm just dead. I'm just going to leave that one alone. All right. Why don't we move over here to the Rangers?
Yes, so it sounds like JT Miller's been named the next head captain of the team. Kind of came out as a surprise to a lot of people. But of course, they traded away Truba. They got rid of Kreider, who was also a veteran leader. He's their 29th captain. It's a shakeup when they brought him in here after that debacle in Vancouver. They believe in him. He has a 100-point season under his belt. He is a leader. He is a trooper. He was one of the guys who I believe was fighting in the Four Nations, so he knows how to drop the gloves. He's physical. He demands a lot of himself as well as everyone else. And good for the Islanders because they're shaking it up. They've got some new things. They've got Mike Sullivan coming in as a head coach, so he's going to be motivated. And one player to keep an eye out, and Evan, I know you've liked his game a lot, is Gabe Perreault. It's possible he surprises a lot of people this summer, but give us your quick thoughts on him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's hungry. I know we say that about a lot of players, but I think he's ready to play this season. He's probably as prepared as he's going to be, I think, at this stage. Maybe, working on your defensive game a little bit more, but just seeing him in the last tourneys and the stuff that he's been in, it's whether he can play with the heavyweight of the big boys. That's going to be, the big part of his game to see. But I think he's in a good space right now with there's a retooling going on in New York right now around that. So I think that's important. And hey, can I mention, I don't know how many of you got news of this today. It just got announced. The New York Rangers will be the first to have patches, sponsorship patches on their jersey shoulders. What has happened is the Mark Messier multi-platform sports and entertainment brand will be worn as their first ever jersey patch partner. This is hitting some scary ground now because we went from helmets to, now we're putting some patches on arms. What will happen next? We don't know, but I can tell you the only place you can buy them, and they're making it special, is only in Madison Square Garden in the arena area. They have a couple different store locations, and that is the only place that you can get those special jerseys. So that will be an interesting thing.
100%. And speaking of the other team in New York, the Islanders, we know that they signed a promising young Russian prospect, but it was Daniel Prokhorov. People are thinking it was Maxim, what was his last name? Koryarov, but they've got Daniel Prokhorov signed to an entry-level contract, who is a 6'6" power forward. He was initially wanting to play in the KHL, but he decided to come here to play in North America, and he is part of that development plan. He may play with the OHL at the beginning, but it'll be interesting to see what happens there. So your thoughts there?
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
That's the Chipimov. Yeah, that was the other one. That was the Flyers wanted him, and I know that we talked a lot about that at length.
Okay, yeah, that's right. And they ended up being the one to jump in there. So one of the things I like about the Islanders, they have a lot of even Cole Yzerman. He's back. In fact, he has the potential to be a Hobey Baker because Hobey Baker's not about a specific age. Even this year with James Higgins and Gavin McKenna and a few others. We'll take a week when we go through my Revs top 15. But I'm telling you, man, they're looking good. And former assistant coach Rocky Thompson is taking over the Islanders AHL team in Bridgeport as the head coach. So I'm excited to see Rocky Thompson land back on his feet as well within the organization. And I actually see him as a good fit with Patrick Waugh. I could see that if something changed, he could get his chance to get back into the NHL again.
Excellent. And before we get to some of the other teams, because we're coming up close on the end of our time.
I was going to say, we'll jump through some other than because we probably got about another 12 teams to cover here.
Yeah.
With the Flyers, why don't we leave them today? In only a couple of weeks, we got Jamie Baskow coming on, or if we can get some next week.
Yeah, and what we're going to get to is the Washington Capitals. First off, congratulations and happy birthday to Ovi, turning 40 today. One of the greats of the game who has scored quite a few goals. in the last decade since he's turned 30. I mean, the guy continues to produce at an elite level. He has a Stanley Cup. He's won the Rocket Richard. I wouldn't be surprised if they renamed it him. The Ovi Award, the Ovi Rocket, just because of how well he's done it. But in some unflattering news, it sounds like there is an investigation into assistant coach Mitch Love. He's been put on a leave pending an internal investigation through the Washington Capitals organization, but the NHL is aware and they're doing their own after getting some reports given to the Washington organization about some of his conduct off the ice. Now, we don't know more than that, but what we will say, and it's been reported quite a bit, is that he was a coach that was really sought after last season, at the end of the season, by many clubs, including Calgary was one of them, and a few others just to bring in. So that's pretty much it on that end, but that's just being reported. Go ahead.
There is something. If you guys remember last year, I talked and I actually made a quote that Mitch loved to Pittsburgh. And then Dan Muse came into the picture, which I understood. I wasn't sure what Kyle Dubas. And so what I'm actually now hearing from that same group is that they were all in. Dan was in the background, but the truth is they paused on something. No one knows why they paused. And maybe that's where they got that letter once they thought that they were all making it to go in the direction that they thought they needed to go. So therefore, they moved and they went to the next person on their lineup. So if I can say this, I just want you guys to think, because we don't know. I've tried to search everywhere, but if no award renamed after Gretzky, they won't rename after Ovi. That's actually that might be because of the amount of goals he scored. I get it. Not overall, but we're in a single season, right? Because it's a single season trophy. Anyway. So if I can just say this, just remember, if someone's fooling around, messing with someone else's wife, or even in behind the scenes with a team, if it was just adultery, things like that, guys, this doesn't go under investigation. This is something very different. So don't go. Don't. I was going to say a couple words that I'm going to get canceled if I say them, so I'm not going to say them. And let's just move on. You know what? I just move on. That's terrible.
We just want to shout out to Leafs Lounge. He says, "Sup, boys? Hello, Leaf Lounge.
Hello.
Tonight, let us know your favorite Toronto hot take for the year and your favorite Toronto Maple Leaf or Marley, whichever one it may be." There's few teams that kind of get through. If you want to just talk about, go ahead.
Okay, so why don't you pick two and I'll pick two? And then we're going to end with that.
I wanted to talk about the Utah Mammoth. And the reason being is there's something else that has been going on, including the branding lawsuit. It's facing some legal challenges because there's a smaller, unrelated sports team with a similar name that filed that lawsuit, saying that they had access to that name first. It shouldn't affect the start of the NHL season. It is a significant off-ice story that you'll be watching. And the other one is what's it called? Connor Ingram won't attend the training camp as he looks to find a new home after his time away from the team. And so he may be placed on waivers unless there's a trade to be made somewhere. Zylstra, what am I doing with the beard? I like beards. My wife loves my beard, so I'm going to keep my beard. That's the way this works. Happy wife, happy life. And as it goes for the Utah, if people have had a chance, go online on Twitter/X or wherever you get your information and look at the great images of the recently constructed facility. It looks amazing. I think Utah pulled out all the stops, and I look forward to seeing them on the ice, especially with their slick new jerseys. And I believe Clayton Keller went on the ice, who's now been named captain, to score a few times on the net for the first time to get the goal horn going. So that was exciting. That was my only thing for Utah. Go ahead.
Utah, did we didn't talk about them last week, did we?
We did not. No.
I just want to mention, if you guys did not know this, so we talk about the obstructed seats at the end. They have put massive dollars in. So I found this out during the summer. So the assistant, not their assistant, their general manager came on. He was on with John Shannon's show. So he came on with him and he was sharing a whole bunch of stuff. It was about a 1 hour podcast. It was incredible. And he talked about stuff. So I went in and I looked behind, got some pictures. So what they did is they took the current arena during the off season and they literally took out all their seating in the lower level, made changes. They literally have seats that can adjust further in, further back. They're state of the art, never had kind of seating. And the one end allows seats to come way out to get close to the front in basketball. And it also allows now on the one side, no obstruction. And they added another, I don't know if it was another 2,000 seats or 1,500 seats that were added now with view to the end in a better way, the way they made this. Next year, they're going to be completing the other side that has the obstruction. So I'm pretty excited about that.
100%. And so what's the final team you want to discuss?
Okay. I want to touch quickly here on the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, I've been saying stuff around Sidney Crosby for a while. Two things that came up. They're talking to him about, what do you think about, tanking? Well, no player in the history of the game ever says, oh, yeah, we like the tank. We talk about it. You know what? We want to get a good player. They all play to win. They all will. I can't even imagine going out, collecting a paycheck and not playing to win. How you lose in tank is the general manager not giving you a proper team to ice or the wrong setup. That's what happened. So it was fair because they invited everyone out in front of this house to do this interview with him. But he was kind of like, he thought it was a stupid question, you could tell. As well as he was very vocal at being able to talk about, is he going somewhere else? People need to get off this storyline. They are so bored between Crosby going to a new team, McDavid not signing and wants to go to Toronto, and Kaprizov's going to the New York Rangers. That's kind of the whole thing everywhere. Guys, grow up and realize that this is not a reality. This is only you playing EA Sports. I'm just joking if you're one of those people that believe that. I don't. I'm just honestly. Now, Bill Zonin with the Pittsburgh, he's he just drafted him. He is injured. He's missed the whole rookie tourney and doesn't look like he'll be able to really compete in camp. And interesting, Robbie Fabro has got a PTO. I just learned this today here. So that's going to be interesting. I think that he can easily make this team. So that'll be interesting. And then, of course, do you want to tell everyone what's happening with Marc-Andre Fleury, the Hall of Famer?
Of course, he signed kind of a 1 year, 1 day contract for the preseason to come in and to play, and essentially finishes off his career as a Pittsburgh Penguin. It's a nice gesture. He's just going to play preseason. I don't see him playing regular, as he did indicate he retired, but his photo that he signed had him signing off on the agreement with his cup rings, with his Stanley Cups, sitting in his kitchen with his Pittsburgh robe. Very cool photo. I loved it. Good for him. Good for Pittsburgh. I'm surprised more teams don't do that. I know they do the 1 day thing, but I think they should do that even for training camp, because it'd be cool to have that veteran leadership and for the young rookies to see and the young players coming up. So that's pretty much it. But we're running out of time. Jordan writes, hey, Evan, EA Sports. It's in the game, right? He knows what's up. But we've had a jam-packed, fantastic show. We did not get to everything again tonight, guys. But Evan, before we wrap up, is there anything you wanted to kind of allude to, share, discuss?
I just want to again, a quick mention to all of our sponsors. We didn't get our final say. So Andre Dibble, so the Northern Michigan Warhounds will be, instead of the Kalkaska Battlers, will be up partnering with us this year. I wanted to welcome Flow Hockey to our sponsorship and our program. Excited to see more games. Again, welcome our sponsors in Penny Billionaires, their web designs, as well as Puckpedia. Looking for a great time. I want to tell you guys, next week, we're going to talk around the Vancouver Canucks and Elias Pettersson, and we're going to talk about Connor Bedard and the work they put into the offseason. And some of you guys, we just don't have time to talk about it today because, as always, man, it's been another ring-a-ding-dong dandy, my friend.
It has. So thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to like, share, subscribe, give us a follow. We are on Instagram, on X at Revenev or Hockey_2. We are on YouTube. Give us a follow. On Facebook, we're posting regularly, almost daily there. We're getting it out there, and we love hearing from you guys. It's been so much fun, guys. Stay safe, have fun, and as always, keep your sticks on the ice. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.